Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tasha. Let's get into this. So, hi guys. No periodic table, no alien talk today. However, I already know the creator came through with the message. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit cold. That's the one thing I hate about the summertime sometimes. Like when the air is on and it's too cold. It's too cold. But the creator wanted me to pose a question. Okay? If someone can be possessed with a dark or a demonic entity, why can't they be blessed with an angelic entity? I got it downloaded a few days ago, and then today it was confirmed by that question. I watched a movie. It was about spiritual warfare. Mostly everything we watch is about spiritual warfare in the ethers, especially the things that have come out in the last 40 to about 70 or so years. If you really pay attention, and you really look at it through the lens of understanding spirituality, spiritual warfare, you'll see it, okay? Literally anything. These Twilight movies, what is his name? Harry Potter. A lot of these movies and everything we're watching, like I said, from over, at least between the last 40 to 7 going into 70 years, okay? Now, our understanding of the spiritual world is highly limited, right? It's limited to what we've experienced, what we can understand, and what we have learned, okay? What we've been told, what we've seen on TV, what, other people have exposed us to. There's a world beyond a world, within a world, underneath a world, over a world. I'm serious. Like, these are where the multiple dimensions come in, right? This is where all that jazz starts to get jazzy. A lot of us, we're aware of this world, and we can only tell you what it looks like from our perspective, right? We don't have a real deal depiction of what spiritual warfare is. I mean, unless the creator has revealed to you what a particular spirit looks like, what a dimension of your own personal universe looks like, what his face looks like. And I mean, we have to definitely move Jesus. We have to make sure, and I'm not saying Jesus isn't real. I'm just saying the universal picture that the average American may know is not a real depiction, okay? And this is for a lot of things, spirituality. And we don't have to go into how everything was whitewashed, even though that's why things don't look the way they should, or what they naturally look like, right? The appearance of things have changed. No, that's not just it. It's still always been a portion of it. The creator allows us to rely on him to have our own understanding of things for ourselves in our own journey. And as we ascend and start to come into contact and serve more people, our understanding of these things will expand. Okay? So all of the things that we know about spirituality and spiritual warfare, it needs to start expanding. We had a conversation about expanding our careers and our gifts and the physical aspect of ourselves through our gifts and through our relationship with the Creator. This conversation is more so about expanding ourselves within our gifts, with our gifts. Meaning, if God has allowed you to understand what A is in spirituality, He's not going to just give you B and C. He's going to give you A squared, B squared, C squared. You understand? It's time for the next dimension. Not only because we're moving into these dimensions, not only because we're growing, but it's simply time for us to get into new levels of spiritual warfare, new dimensions, going into spaces that are uncharted for us. Things that will start connecting us to other spiritual people, other spiritual events. All of the spiritual world is not an evil place. It's just the things that we know and have witnessed. People have, for the most part, used their gifts for bad. A lot of people can't tell you the good things that they know about spirituality and spiritual warfare, right? The average person, if you ask them about spiritual warfare, they're going to talk about witches and warlocks and curses and, death magic and spells and hexes and voodoo and hoodoo, and they're going to more than likely go into the negative aspect of it because this is our understanding of spiritual warfare. But there's an opposite end. Everything that the Creator has brought to us is a dual dynamic. It's not just one dynamic to what God creates. He's a multi-dimensional God. He's omnipresent. There's no way He only has one. Like, you get what I'm saying? There's no way He only has one layer to Him. So our understanding is limited. And I hate to say it's like limited as in we are limited. No, our understanding. There's a vast amount of information out there, right, for us to get into. And then, of course, there are other factors, right, like your purpose, your genetics, the level of intelligence that you possess to be able to even interpret and understand and regurgitate as well as apply. Because someone can give you an entire book of spiritual information. Someone can give you an entire book of spells. Someone can give you an entire book of ways to do anything. But if you are not on the level where you can, number one, interpret it, and number two, apply it, and number three, understand it in its entirety, it's just going to be another random book. So we have to understand our overall understanding is limited. Okay? And we don't have to just focus on the negative things. We can look at all of what is required to have a relationship with the spiritual world. We're going to be getting ready to start a few series soon. So I'm going to keep you guys updated, of course. We still had an event with the bullet making. I did not forget about that. A few things just popped up, and the venue that we were going to use is kind of, I don't know if we're still going to use it. So we might have to switch venues. That was like one of the main issues, okay? But the gist of this conversation is to understand that there's way more to the spiritual world than what's afoot. Your overall desire to get more information is also connected to what you know. But if God doesn't want you to know it, then you won't, right? It'll be hidden. So those are aspects of ourselves that are just kind of like adrift, right? We have a duty to understand these spiritual aspects, not only because God wants us to, but we're connected to them in multiple ways. You have layers and levels of yourself that are connected to these realms and these dimensions that are waiting for you to be, making contact with them. And there was another portion of this segment, but I wanted to get into that first because people don't understand how the spiritual world works. And we have this one-sided idea about spirituality and spiritual warfare. Okay? Just like some people don't realize that when they say they're closing portals, you can only close portals with people that you're not threatened with in multiple ways. So let's just say you have an energetic connection with someone in Pluto. I'm just using Pluto as an example. You can't necessarily close the cycle off with them in this dimension on this timeline because you are connected to them elsewhere. And God will allow people that you're connected to in other realms break curses and cycles over you in this realm, in this dimension, on this timeline, although you may no longer be connected to them here physically, but spiritually you're connected to them in other ethers, other dimensions. I hope that made sense. So I'll give you an example. Let's just say you're connected to someone in Pluto, you're connected to them in Uranus, you're connected to them in Mars and Jupiter and Earth, right? And then you get into a fight with them in Earth. On Jupiter, they are your mother or your father. On Pluto, they're your coworker. No, I'm serious. These are the different things that connects us, right? Because they're your parent on Jupiter, you can't really sever the tie with them here. You may no longer talk to them. You may no longer even desire to be connected to them in any kind of way. But because of the status of the relationship in the other dimensions, they can still assist you with breaking cycles here. So their energy, their energetic influence and signature can help you. And maybe their energy will come back in your presence in a different form. Okay? We don't fully get to test out all of the things that we want, right? We don't fully get to see them until God says He wants us to experience them. We don't get to go into rooms without having something energetically pull us there. So these thresholds are the same. And when I say thresholds, I mean portals, the avenues and byways that are traveled by different energies and frequencies to make their way to us, whether it's to hinder or help. It doesn't even matter. The way energy travels to us, it takes the same route. Okay, the vibration of the frequency or the energy is what matters. They don't really take too much of different channels, okay? Good and bad energy can come to you through the form of people, your environment, animals, your own thought process, okay? So, yeah, we need to learn a little bit more about the ethers. But I'm going to end it here. I do hope y'all have been drinking your water, eating your fruit and vegetables, and sipping on your own tea because it's free. Enjoy y'all weekend. Lay y'all. Peace.